KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. With ballots going out next week, candidates vying for seats in both the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives faced off against each other tonight at Gonzaga. KREM 2's Cody Proctor sat in on the debates and spoke to all the candidates. She's joining us live now with what they had to say. Cody?
The two debates tonight featured incumbent Senator Maria Cantwell facing Republican challenger Dr. Raul Garcia of Yakima, and Carmela Conroy and Michael Baumgartner battling each other for the 5th Congressional District seat. Now, this all comes 1 month out from the election.
The afternoon began with the race for the Senate seat. Senator Maria Cantwell's trying to keep her seat, and Dr. Raul Garcia's trying to take it. Topics range from the war in Ukraine, abortion, and the removal of Snake River dams. The homelessness crisis also came up.
If elected, what steps would you take to help remedy this crisis? Thank you.
The first step is drug rehabilitation. The second step is mental health. And the third step is housing. Not housing first.
We need to build more supply. Spokane knows this, and that's why places like Gonzaga Haven and other affordable housing projects are done.
The afternoon stayed civil between the candidates, and both say they're pleased with how it went.
I'm really pleased that I got a chance to talk to Spokane.
It was a civil discord between worthy opponents instead of attacking each other.
The debate series ended with candidates Michael Baumgartner and Carmela Conroy. They're running for the empty 5th Congressional District seat after Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers announced she wasn't seeking re-election. Questions ranged from inflation, student loans, and abortion.
I definitely believe that the Congress of the United States should restore, with national legislation, the right of women to make choices about their own bodies.
When I read the Constitution, it clearly says that things that are not prescribed in the Constitution belong to the states. I frankly just don't think that abortion was thought of by the founders. I don't think it's in the Constitution. I think it's a state issue.
Thank you.
This wasn't the first time the two faced off, and it won't be the last.
It's two different versions of what is on offer to the people of Eastern Washington. But at the end of the day, if either of us do get to Congress, we're going to have to work together in a bipartisan fashion.
We definitely have policy differences, and I think it's a great opportunity to flesh those out so that people know what they're getting or not getting.
Election night takes place November 5th.
Now, the Spokesman Review hosted the debates. They also sponsored the event along with Northwest Passages, KSPS PBS, Gonzaga, the Black Lens, and the Washington State Debate Coalition. KSPS aired the Senate debate earlier Tuesday night. They'll air the congressional debate on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. In the newsroom, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
All right, Cody, thank you very much. Also later this month, KREM 2 is hosting a 5th Congressional District debate. Candidates Carmela Conroy and Michael Baumgartner will be here in the KREM 2 studio on Wednesday, October 30th. The hour-long debate starts at 7 that evening on KREM 2, KSKN 22, KREM 2 Plus, and KREM.com. New tonight, jury selection got underway today for an Oregon man accused of kidnapping a Seattle woman and then locking her in a cinder block cell in his basement. Prosecutors have submitted a witness list of more than 70 people and more than 500 pieces of evidence. They include images of Nagasi Zuberi buying cinder blocks at a Home Depot, the ones he allegedly used to construct that makeshift cell. The FBI says Zuberi posed as an undercover officer, kidnapped the woman, and then sexually assaulted her during the 450-mile drive to his Southern Oregon home. The trial is set to last 3 weeks. Zuberi has pleaded not guilty. 14 attorneys general are suing TikTok, claiming the app is harming kids' mental health. Washington is among the states taking legal action. But Attorney General Bob Ferguson says the state filed its own lawsuit because the harm to young people has been significant. Today, more than a dozen states did the same, with the Attorney General for the District of Columbia claiming TikTok deceives parents about safety and profits from exploitation of young users. In New York, the lawsuit alleges the social media giant, quote, collected data without consent. And in California, the Attorney General argues the platform is designed to promote excessive, compulsive, and addictive use. Ferguson says the platform does not have enough protections.
They have sort of a young person's thing for kids under a certain age where it's more limited, but the problem is that young person can simply put a birth date that allows them to act like they're older, and there's no protections around that.
This morning, TikTok released a statement about the lawsuits the attorneys general filed, saying, quote, "We strongly disagree with these claims, many of which we believe to be inaccurate and misleading," unquote. The media giant also says they have voluntarily launched safety features like default screen time limits and proactively removing users they suspect who are underage. Just last year, Washington joined more than 40 other states in suing Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram. Washington's attorney general said at the time Meta exploited kids for profit. That case is still working its way through the court system. The U.S. Supreme Court today signaled it is likely to uphold the ATF's rule to regulate ghost gun kits. Ghost guns are homemade firearms that do not have a serial number and are put together with a kit. The agency said in 2022, a 1968 law requiring manufacturers and dealers to perform background checks and include serial numbers on firearms covers ghost guns too. Based on the questions liberal and conservative justices asked in oral arguments today, there might be a majority vote to leave that new rule in place. The High Court's decision is expected next summer. And in an effort to bring you more to every story here in Washington, ghost guns are also illegal after legislation was passed last year. They are defined as any firearm manufactured after July 1st of 2019 that is not an antique and cannot be traced by law enforcement by means of a serial number. The law also prohibits the manufacturing, selling, transferring, or buying of these guns. All right, let's switch gears. Take a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Gu. Jeremy, another beautiful day across the inland Northwest today. I feel like our days, though, in the 70s are kind of numbered now.
Yeah, we are counting down the days until the cold is here. When it comes to our overall temperatures today, they're about 10 to 15 degrees above normal depending where you were. We still sit in the 50s. It's still pretty mild considering. Overnight, we are falling back into the 40s, but barely for most of us. We stay very mild, reason being the passage of a frontal boundary. What that's doing is it's adding cloud cover and wind to the atmosphere. Each of those things separately helps trap daytime heat through the overnight hours. You put those together, they do it wonderfully. And that's exactly what happens. We wake up to mild temperatures, clouds, and a little bit of wind. That sticks around for most of the day. We'll eventually clear out Wednesday night. And that leads to a chilly Thursday morning. But tomorrow, not too shabby. 69 degrees under increasing cloud cover and a little bit of wind.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. I'll check back in with you later in the show. Covering North Idaho tonight, a brand new ER hospital specializing in emergency treatment held its grand opening in Post Falls this afternoon. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy reports on how that new facility is accommodating the growing region.
Megan Conlon has aspirations in the medical field.
I do want to go to nursing school eventually.
She's taking a step in that direction, working at the front desk at the new Post Falls ER and Hospital on South Beck Road.
I have worked at Kootenai Health in the past, but I mainly worked in a different industry, just doing management and things of that sort.
She, alongside staff of registered nurses and 14 physicians, make up about 50 staff members at the new facility, celebrating its grand opening on Tuesday.
It's unique in that we can serve people quickly because we are just an ER.
Business Development Manager Amy Bartu says the facility's been planned for the past 2 years, owned by the 14 physicians on staff, something she says is a plus.
I believe being physician-owned allows us to be more mobile, to be able to pivot when we see needs that need addressed.
The biggest being to offer another resource so facilities like Kootenai Health and Valley Hospital don't become overcrowded.
All of our healthcare facilities in this area were extremely overwhelmed. They even still are, even with our facility being built.
A facility Bartu says has already seen 390 patients since its operation began 6 weeks ago. And starting November 1st, will have outpatient imaging services such as CAT scans and ultrasounds.
We're able to serve this part of the state that's growing so rapidly, and there are so many families that live in the area, and that we can be very responsive for those families and people traveling on I-90.
More care for those who need it immediately, and more experience for Conlon, looking ahead to advance her career.
We get them all checked in, and then we keep up with them through the continuation of their care.
In Post Falls,
we just want to help people.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.